Welcome. Great to practice with you today. We're going to set up with a yoga blanket, and then chair is optional. If you have like bed or couch nearby, that'll work too. Um, if you like it for things like standing splits, feel free to get that set up. And yeah, today's like the slightly manufactured Star Wars holiday, May the 4th. And Star Wars has actually been a really special part of my life. I feel lucky that I got to be alive while the originals were coming out. And yeah, I just always remember loving the story because it's really a classic story of the hero and coming of age and discovering our power. And it's very spiritual as well. Um, and I really find like when we're engaging with our own life, we have that kind of revelation of discovering that we have deeper powers and we have a element of being the hero. So we're going to lie on the bolster. So take your blanket, roll it up into that bolster shape about the length of your spine, and begin aligning the blanket under your spine. I don't do the very base of the spine on the blanket, so that can continue lengthening down with gravity. You take time to make adjustments so that you feel comfortable. If you're practicing with the music playlist, feel free to get that rolling. Begin by awareness. Awareness before you take action or go to change your experience, and just being very aware. And take in the feeling of each breath. Awareness of how you came to yoga today. It's very valid, especially when you practice regularly, that um, you come to yoga with some resistance to doing yoga. And I still do yoga in that state all the time. It's really very valid. Um, so, however you are arriving, just be in this space with yourself and relax. Place awareness on breath flow. Create space for your breath to move. There are apertures in our body, sometimes correlated with the chakras. For example, just relaxing deeply in the throat. You might swallow, and then this can allow the breath to flow. With awareness in the heart center, let yourself feel and release in the heart center. All the way down to the belly. Sometimes I find the belly is almost like a dark cavern when I first bring awareness here. So keep your attention without straining, just staying aware as you focus in your belly. Finding a release one breath at a time. Enjoy a few quiet moments to breathe. Your whole body is included in your awareness. Stretch arms up overhead. Hook your thumbs together and then rehook them with the opposite thumb on top. Stretch really long. Tuck your chin a little bit so you're lengthening the back of your neck. Walk the legs closer together and not so close that it pinches your back. Reach long through your heels. A couple of breaths, really lengthening out. Nice. Bring feet to floor one at a time and roll to your side so you can slide the blanket out from underneath. Hug your knees in and rock your spine on the mat. I'll take us through some detailed core strengthening. Place feet on the ground. Arms are by your side, kind of close into your hips. Draw the front ribs slightly down to help stabilize your spine. A little engagement of the front hip crests toward the midline. And then draw chin down toward the throat just a little so that you're lengthening back through the sides of the neck. Press the outer shoulder blades and the back of the arms lightly down. And find a balance of breathing with this stabilization of your spine. So just cycling through the front hip bones toward each other. Front center ribs slightly down. And all of this is happening with a sense of awareness and breath flow. Lift up your toes, so just your heels are on the mat. And keeping your spine stable, we'll just do a little march. One foot lifts a few inches and then down to the mat. Other side, lifting the heel and then down. So what we're looking for is preventing rocking in pelvis, preventing change in the shape of the spine. So this is spinal stabilization. Nice. We'll get into this, a few more breaths for this movement, and then we'll change it up. Sometimes I like really disengage when the heels are on the ground. So just see if you can tap into that a little bit. Keep some awareness through each part of the cycle. Nice. Lower your toes, place hands on the belly and breathe all the way down, softening your belly. Place arms long beside you. Float your feet. So now the knees are above the hips. Feet have that little flex in the ankle. We'll go through our stabilization points like front hip bones a little closer, mid abdomen, front center ribs drawing down, chin slightly down, lengthening back through the sides of the throat. And now our movement is one heel down at a time. And it could just be a partial movement. It could also be halfway down. If you're doing it right, it's challenging, even now. Yeah. So we're aware of keeping the spine from bowing in the low back as foot lowers. Shoulder blades open. And then you also get insight, maybe what are the weak links? What parts of your body might go to buckle first? And so we'll just stay on this march a little more, cultivating our core stability. Yeah, one on each side to finish up. Nice. Feet to mat. Widen your feet to the edges of the mat. Stretch your arms into cactus and let's twist that out. Knees to each side. Rolling side to side, kind of soft, like you're doing a painting with a big paintbrush. The last movement was kind of like fine detail painting. So now we're gonna release that. Nice. Roll all the way to one side. Find your way to hands and knees. Table pose with toes curled under. Shift back and start to stretch under the sole of your foot. A little side to side in the hips. Shift forward, and similar for your hands, just side to side as we stretch out the wrists and the forearms. Back to the feet, and really what helps you to open up your hands and your feet. Nice. We'll take downward dog. A little more space between hands and feet. Lift your knees. Take your dog for a walk. Soften elbows just a bit so you can feel strength around elbow joint, around shoulder joint. Lift one leg up for a three-legged dog and just see, like you might sigh or yawn. This stretch has that quality. Place foot down and other side. Easy breathing as you open up. Walk feet to hands and hands to feet. Take a standing forward fold, Uttanasana. A couple breaths to open up your spine and just see where you feel. See what draws your attention. You come to standing. Press your feet down, rising up. Arms overhead, deep breath. Exhale, hands together by your heart. Welcome, Jess, Andrea, Finn, yay. Carolyn, great to see everybody. Happy Star Wars. My Star Wars babies. All right. We'll take a moment to feel our life force standing in the mountain pose. Full body in your awareness. And one strategy to help us work with our energy is awareness comes before action. So we're really feeling and tuning into our perception. Make your way into the chair pose. Bend your knees, sit back. Brush your fingertips down to the mat. As you breathe in, arms high, sitting into chair. Exhale, fold forward so your chest comes closer to your thighs. Arms are going to reach back. So that'll be our opening movement, reaching up and then down and back, softening your head. Take 3 more like that. The next time you're reaching up, straighten your legs. Take a standing back bend, lift your heart. Exhale, fold over straight legs. Walk your feet back, coming into your plank pose. Strengthen with your breath. Tap into the core resources you found before. Front hip bones a little closer. Here we can hug inner thighs closer as well. Front center of rib cage lifts away from the mat. Hands press down, drawing strength through the outer shoulders. Great job. Lower to your belly. One of our Star Wars poses today is the X-Wing fighter. So for this, we're gonna take our arms out at a diagonal line. So like one arm up and out and the other arm is like one side of the letter X. So you're gonna lift your legs, lift your arms, and then change your arms to be the other side of the X. So we'll lift with the inhale, exhale to lower down and change your arms. Check in with your neck, that you're very long through the top back neck vertebrae. One more on each side. Plant your hands, cobra if you want, and then back to downward dog. Hips up and back, bend your knees, shake it out. Walk feet forward, standing forward, fold with your exhale. Bend the knees, chair pose, breathe in, reaching up. And we're back into this flow. Exhale, hands down, reaching back. And there's a little propulsion with your knees, like a bending and straightening as you're powering your knees down. With straight legs, reach up, hands to back of head for a standing back bend. Tune into your breath. Head rests in the basket of your hands. Drop your arms, catch hands behind the back for a heart opener. Pull the knuckles down and back, deep breath in. Exhale, fold over straight legs. Pivot weight more into the ball of the foot so the heels lighten. We can make an effort to straighten the legs without locking the knees like a flamingo leg. Reach shoulders away from the ground so you're drawing them down your back, and just see how that feels. One more inhale. Exhale, touch the mat. So for this, you could have hands on mat or a chair can be used for standing splits. Reach the right leg up, deep breath in. Exhale, Jiva squat, bend your left knee and tuck the right knee behind it. Breathe in, reaching up. Breathe out, curl in, little ball. Last one. Reach the leg long, and we're stepping back for warrior one. So your back heel can be planted. Start with hands on hips and bend and straighten your front knee. Check in with your feet that you can feel both of your heels. You can feel the pinky front foot and the big toe front foot. Bend the front knee, open your wings, elbows wide. Inhale, straight front leg, hands crisscross to shoulders, drop the chin. Exhale, bend the knee, open up. And that'll be our movement. Inhale, hands to shoulders. Exhale, open your wings. The next time you have your wings open, take hands behind the back, heart expander, deep breath in. Exhale, humble warrior, chest toward the inside of the left knee. Strong through both feet. One more breath in. Exhale, touch the mat. Step back into plank pose. We've got yogi's choice for your vinyasa flow or a moment to rest in child's pose. From downward dog, step feet forward. Standing forward, fold. Bend your knees for your chair. And we're coming up into that pulsing movement. Arms reach when you inhale. Exhale, brush the arms down and back. When arms reach up, straighten your legs, standing back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Hands on the floor or the chair. We have standing splits. Inhale, left leg reaches up. Exhale, Jiva squat, curl in. Yeah, following your breath flow. With the leg high, take a big step back. Let's get ready for warrior one. Plant your back foot flat, about a 45-degree angle or more angled forward in the toes. Start with hands on hips. I find there's kind of a cobra back in warrior one as we lift the heart. Bend into the front knee, different arm variation. Start with your hands together by your heart. It's one we've done before. So we'll sandwich our forearms really close together and lift up as high as you can. And then cactus arms out to the side. Then you got robot arms. Oh, look, it's a robot pose for Star Wars. Hands together. Yeah, so that's our movement. Flossing the shoulders. You get extra yoga sparkles if you make an R2-D2 noise. Oh. I love when he would be concerned, like the concerned R2-D2 beeping. When your elbows are by your side, let's just do a few robot arms. So hands forward and fingers wide. So elbows are staying beside you. This is a less common movement of the shoulder. It's really healing and balancing. Arms behind your back, weird thumb on top, open your heart, breathe in. Exhale, dive forward for humble warrior. In this pose, the head is below the heart, tapping into our sense of knowing, our sense of consciousness that is more expansive than our mental capacity. Touch the mat, plank pose, your chance to flow or take a moment to chill. Feet to hands, make your way to standing forward fold. Exhale all the way. Bend your knees, rise up for chair, arms high. Exhale, hands to your heart. We're coming into yogic squat. Knees are gonna go wide. You might sink into your feet. Sometimes I just kind of shimmy from one foot to the other. So your choice to work in the squat or work into the crow, kakasana, the crow pose. I'll give a few step-by-steps and then you have some time to be. When you're working in the squat, I no longer do the elbows leveraging the knees and then knees pulling into the elbows. I find that was gapping my SI joint from all the hip opening in yoga. So what I'm gonna suggest is for the squat, you're just reaching forward while you sink body weight back through your heels and your tailbone. For the crow, hands are down like plank, elbows bend a little bit. We're kind of hugging the outer shoulders to the sides of the ribs. Rise up to tiptoes. There'll be a little bend in your elbows, most likely. I think of putting the front lower knee on the back of the upper arm. There can also be like a little thigh master where you're hugging the knees against the arms. And if you don't know what a thigh master is, that means you're younger than me, and that's fine. I'll tell you what it is sometime. And so we've got a little time to float. Notice if you have a story about this pose or about your body, and see if you can release that just for a moment to have an experience that's unrestricted. We're resolving into the gorilla pose with feet on the mat. Feet are separated a bit wider than the width of your hips. Fold forward. Walk the palm of the hand under the sole of each foot. So the toe tips are in the wrist crease. Bend your knees to find that connection, and then begin to straighten the back of the legs. Let your spine drop with the weight of your torso and your head toward the earth. Bend your elbows so you're pulling your heart closer to your toes. And we have a little time to experience what's here. Nice work. Unthread your legs. Rise up slowly. Stand in your mountain pose. Reposition your feet so that you're balanced. This is time to simply be, to find your awareness. Awareness before action. Bend your knees. We're coming into the chair pose, this time adding a twist with the arms overhead. When you exhale, one arm down and back. With arms shoulder height, you're going to reach into that twist, drop the arm, come to center, and over to the other side. Breathing in brings you to center. Breathing out, find the twist. Awareness of those core details. Front hip crests hug together. Front mid ribs hugging the center. One thing to look at for spinal stability, does your back arch more when you lift your arms? And try to use your upper core to keep the back from changing shape when arms are overhead. Yeah, nice. Straight legs, arms reach up. Exhale, drop your arms. We're just gonna swing our arms a little bit, get some momentum. I was finding this one yesterday. Maybe you find your own way to move your arms and your spine. Standing forward fold as you're ready, all the way down. We have another standing splits. If you want to set your hands on the prop, inhale, right leg high, exhale, curling under. And I just want to give you the choice if you prefer to hold your standing splits or take the squats. With the leg reaching high, take a big step back. Keep your back heel off of the mat, touch the ground with your hands, and space your left foot a little more to the left so you have a hip width distance between your feet. Let's twist to the left, right hand stays down, Sweep the left arm up. Hug left hip towards center as you drop it down to be more equal height as the right. When you exhale, plant your left hand, plant the right heel, and we're coming up for side angle pose, kind of variation. So it's okay if your heart is more facing the ground than the sky. I'm just gonna reach back into that heel, keep bending into the front knee. Right arm reaches out and forward. Nice work. Plant into your left heel as you rise up. So we'll stand tall. Yeah, and take side angle all the way to the other side. So switch your feet, turning the feet, and just options for that right arm. You could have it on your torso, you could have it on the floor as you did just a moment ago. We'll practice our levitating skills. So top hand drops to the hip. We're coming for the half moon pose. One of my tricks is before the back leg lifts, I try to set my right hand so we can walk the back foot a little closer. Front knee can bend so that you get your base happening on the mat. And this movement could be a lift and lower of the back leg, or we could hold in the lifted position. So see what your hips are saying yes to, and bring awareness with your action. You might play with extra reach through left fingertips and float the right hand. Nice. Take a big step back with your left foot. Walk your hands toward the center of the side of your mat and just flow side to side. Soft spine. Walk hands around your left footprint. Opportunity to flow or rest, your call. Step feet to hands, standing forward fold. Rise up, sweep arms high. Exhale, hands together by your heart. Our last sequence with the chair pose, bend your knees, sitting back. And if you would like to repeat the flowing movement, that is available. At this moment, I'm gonna offer the opportunity to hold 3 breaths on each side of the twist. So this could be arms wide. Somehow that really works for my shoulder blades. Yeah, kind of that X-wing position. There's also the prayer twist if you'd like. Yeah, 3 breaths on each side. If you want to go straight legs between sides, that is great. 3 breaths on the other side of your twist. Perception over stories, feeling and breathing. Nice. Rise up and stand. Bring hands to your low back. We'll take a standing back bend. 2 different hand positions. One is fingertips down, like they're in your back pockets. Other position, some of us have a nice experience pointing the fingers up. In either case, you're going to point your tailbone down and just see how you can bring some of this core support with you, opening into the back bend. Also, some glute tone under your hands will feel great. Pull yourself up and all the way into a forward fold. Stretch your left leg high, standing splits. Your choice to take the squat flow or keep the leg lifted. Have that as a challenge. When your leg reaches long, take that big step back. Reorganize your feet for a lunge. Back heel is off the mat. Space out the 2 feet so they are hip distance apart and twist to your right. Left hand on the mat, right arm reaches high. Find a connection through the lower shoulder blades, moving toward each other as the arm reaches out. With your exhale, plant the right hand, drop the left heel, and we're coming into this side angle variation. Ground strongly through left outer footprint, through left heel center, reaching out through the right arm. And I say work more on length than like the heart to the sky type of idea. Just get really long. Nice, push down into the right footprint. Lift your torso. Change feet, we're coming into side angle on the other side. Bend left knee and tilt to your left. Full breaths. Right hand to hip. We're working toward the half moon. Walk back foot closer. Keep a bend in the front knee so left hand can reach the earth. And then your process can be flowing or a steady hold. And just check in with your core along the front of your body. See if you're able to find these core connections as you increase the workload on your legs. There might be a moment to float as the right arm reaches up, left fingertips might lift off the mat just a bit. Nice job, step yourself back. Walk around to the side of the mat. We've got this moment for yogi's choice, just softening forward. If you are inspired to do more crow, that can be accessible from this position. Hands around to right footprint. Take your flow or take a rest. See what feels right when you listen in your body. Sit comfortably, whatever this means to you, kneeling or cross-legged. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down, taking these circles. Settle shoulders down the back. Stay in touch with the core front of your body. So we have mid-ribs moving slightly back, shoulder blades moving back, sides of neck lengthening upward. And we'll do this as a kind of a moving meditation, just staying aware of the core support at our center while we stretch our hands. Right hand forward like a stop sign, and one finger at a time. You have a breath in and out, pulling that finger toward you. So just aware of keeping your center strong as you breathe. One full breath for each finger. Go on to the other side. Press the hand forward like the stop sign, and then just one finger at a time, pulling back. Outer shoulder blades reaching back. Chin tucks a half inch down to help lengthen the sides of the throat upward. Lower your hands. And as we get ready for the handstand, take a moment to visualize yourself. Create a picture of what it would look and feel like to stand on your hands. All right, I'm going to give us a couple ways to practice the handstand so you have some time to do your own experimentation. I'll show if you have like the chair nearby. Also, if you're just by your couch or your bed, this will work as well. Sometimes this is called the box pose or a handstand preparation. So we've got the feet about at the edge of that. I'm going to measure my hips, and that's where the hands go when I flip around. And really staying in this sense of presence with each step. The pose starts a little bit like downward dog. You'll feel like it's more compressed than downward dog, but then it opens up once the feet walk up a little bit. And then one foot at a time could float, or maybe both feet. You just kind of surprise yourself. In between working on the pose, you may do a child's pose or just take a moment to get off of your wrists. I'll show the kicking up approach if you have a wall nearby. You'll want some space between your hands and the wall. I would say at least like 6 inches. If you're too close, there's like not enough room for your booty and the rest of you. That's my experience. So we're starting out in a downward dog, and then bring your shoulders above the wrist, gazing down between the hands. Bend your knees, crouch in a little bit. The next step is leg extensions. Just seeing how that changes your center of gravity. And then there might be a little hop. Just a reminder to keep your gaze more downward than back toward your feet. So we're looking more toward the hand side of the mat. Notice if there's a dominant leg and give yourself time to practice with both legs. We have another few moments to play. Remember to listen to your wrists. Take a child's pose when you'd like. All right, friends, when that feels done, we're gonna be relaxing flat on the belly. Hands create a pillow for your head. If you like to be more nose down or nose to the side, that's up to you. For the pec stretch, let's do the left side first. Lift your head, bring the left arm out into a cactus shape. Slide it upward just an inch or so the elbow is higher than the level of the shoulder. Right hand will be like a cobra just by your chest. Let the left shoulder melt toward the mat as you start to roll onto that side. I find that this pose is sometimes truncated by our wish to do a big movement in the legs when there's a lot of really deep stretching to be done right around your chest and shoulder. So really try to stay focused in that area. Don't worry if your legs are doing something special or not. We can access different fibers of the pecs by lifting the or slide left elbow forward another inch or two. Yeah, you kind of roll chest to the mat and then slide the left fingertips forward a little bit. Another breath or two on this side. Lower down to your belly. Right arm out into the cactus shape. Plant your left hand like it's going to do a cobra. The right elbow is just a little bit ahead of the shoulder. If the elbow is behind the shoulder, I find that this bypasses the area we're stretching. So elbow is in front of the shoulder, and then push into left hand as you roll onto your right side more. There can be a way to rest your head. I just checked in with those core points and it really affected my stretch. Yeah, just front hip bones closer together, front mid ribs hug inward, sides of the neck long. At any point, you might unroll and change the angle of your elbow to access different fibers of your pecs. One more breath on this side. Unroll to your belly. We're going to come into a quad stretch next. So you're just going to lie on your side. The bottom elbow could bend to support your head. Top hand holds onto the top ankle. Knees are a little closer together. Drop the top knee just a bit. And point your tailbone down toward the back of the knees. The back of the knee that's closer to the floor. Nice. Release that ankle. Let the knee come down to the mat. And then we're going to open and do a twist. Take your top arm, reach it behind you. Arms can stretch out. You might want to roll in and out of your twist or hold the sliding rib cage toward the bent knee. Let's take that to the other side. Just roll to your belly first. Roll onto your side, finding the quad stretch. Bottom elbow bent to support your head. Top arm connects to the top ankle. Knees a little closer together. You might check in with your core points, just finding those details and see how it affects the big picture of your stretch. Prioritize awareness before action. Release the ankle, plant the knee on the mat in front of you, and then we're just rolling out into the twist. And top arm reaches back. Rib cage would slide a little closer to the bent knee. Next transition is simply onto your back. We'll be coming right into our final resting pose. If you would like to do any last movements, go right ahead. And something we've been bringing in is a cover for your eyes as a way to release your nervous system. So this could be like the sleeve of your jacket. This could be maybe you have a special eye pillow just for this purpose. There was some research about a month ago just showing the close affinity between the eyes and the brain, that they're actually the same um, material. They're more integrated than was previously thought, than was previously known. And so, in this way, when we take care of our eyes, we're taking care of the brain and the central nervous system. And you might just feel that connection when your eyes soften. The muscles around the eyes release. The space between your eyes and the brain opens up. The brain can release, be unrestricted. From the back of the brain, from our brain stem, there is release all the way down the center of the spine. When you relax the upper back, feel that release travel across through shoulders, through arms and hands, with awareness down through low back and sacrum. Feel this release travel down through hips, down through thighs, knees, ankles, and feet. This opportunity to return to source, return to life force, to relax in our identity as part of this universal consciousness. Like a wave would recede into the ocean, we release into the vastness of consciousness. If you have additional time to rest in Shavasana, that is always welcome. If it's time to move to the next part of your day, just give yourself some breaths to open, explore movement, stretch and awaken your body. Roll to your side and take your time rising into a sitting position. With hands together by your heart, consider how you would like to bring the awareness of your practice through the rest of your day. Connecting with the force that unites us all. Thank you so much for practicing today. Namaste.